Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, 3 Indira Gandhi National Open University School of Education, SOE. Postgraduate Diploma in Pre-Primary Education, Pgdpped. MES82 to Human Development During Early Childhood. Block 1 Human Growth and Development. Unit 3 Interactive Role of Heredity and Environment on Growth and Development. 3.1 Introduction. In the previous units of the block, you have understood about the concept of the growth and development. As you have learned that development is a continuous process which starts from birth and goes on till death of an individual. The developmental cycle of an individual is affected by many factors, including both heredity and environmental factors. In this unit, various factors that influence the growth and development of the child have been discussed in detail. There is a controversy about the role of these two factors, i.e., whether heredity or environment is the determining factor. In this unit, attempt will be made to discuss the controversy. In the case of a pre-primary teacher, you should also know how hereditary and environmental factors influence the child's normal development. 3.2 Objectives. After going this unit, you should be able to times understand the importance of heredity and environment. Times explain influence environmental factors as the determinants of development. Times plan activities according to the developmental needs of the child. 3.3 Meaning of heredity. Heredity is the mechanism by which all traits are inherited by an offspring from her parents. In order to transfer these traits, some medium is required. It is nothing but through the genes contained in the chromosomes. It is because of heredity you find similarity between the children and their parents. You can also say that heredity is the sum total of the physical and mental characteristics that an individual inherits from his parents, which gets transferred through genes which are present in the chromosomes. 3.3.1 Types of heredity. You might have observed that we inherit a lot of abilities, talents and skills from our ancestors. Other than heredity, we also get traits through other agencies. Can you identify some among them? These may include language, customs, traditions, taboos. You can broadly classify heredity into two major groups, the biological heredity and social heredity. Can you give some examples of biological heredity? It include color of skin and eyes, intellectual ability, shape of the nose, hair pattern, etc. These are some examples of traits acquired biologically. The hereditary traits can also classified be into two categories, physical traits and mental traits. Physical traits include as traits responsible for our physical appearance. This may include eye color, blood type, skin color, height, etc. Mental traits govern the mental makeup of an individual. Intelligence and musical ability are some of examples the mental traits. 3.3.2 How twins are formed. You might have interacted with twins in your daily experiences. You must have also noticed that most twins resemble in their physical appearance and even in their habits. Twins can either be identical, in scientific usage, monozygotic, meaning that they develop from one zygote that splits and forms two embryos, or fraternal, dizygotic, because they develop from two separate eggs that are fertilized by two separate sperm. As already indicated above, the identical or monozygotic, MZ, twins occur when a single egg is fertilized to form one zygote, hence, monozygotic, which then divides into two separate embryos. These are formed through an accident in the prenatal life, with no relationship to either genetic or environmental influences. They account for the 1/4 to 1/3 of all twins in the population. Fraternal twins, on the other hand, are more common. In the recent years, increased use of fertility drugs spur ovulation and often cause more than one ovum. These drugs have increased the chances of having 2 or more babies at the same time. Fraternal or dizygotic, DZ, twins, also referred to as non-identical twins, as they are formed when 2 fertilized eggs are implanted in the uterus wall at the same time. When 2 eggs are independently fertilized by 2 different sperm cells, fraternal twins result. The 2 eggs, or ova, form 2 zygotes, hence the terms dizygotic and biovular. Fraternal twins, like any other siblings, have an extremely small chance of having the same chromosome profile. Like any other siblings, fraternal twins may look similar, particularly given that they are the same age. However, fraternal twins may also look very different from each other. They may be of different sexes or the same sex. The same holds true for brothers and sisters from the same parents, times. Meaning that fraternal twins are simply brothers and their sisters who happen to be the same age. 3.4 Heredity versus environment. Growth and development is the product of both heredity and environment. The environment includes everything that influenced the child other than the chromosomes. Not after the birth but even at the time of conception itself. It includes the food and nutrition that has been received during the prenatal stage and postnatal stage. Emotional climate in the family, physical surroundings, education, training, experiences, and all other stimulations. Having understood the mechanism of heredity, what is your opinion about the determining factor of growth and development? Some scholars believe it is the heredity that determines the growth and development, while others are of the opinion that heredity play least role in the development of the child. Some psychologists like N. Wingfield, N. Freeman etc., who support heredity as the influencing factor of growth and development of the child has conducted a series of experiments to prove their viewpoints. According to them, it is heredity that determines the growth and development of the child, and environment is just like polishing a wood. Another group of psychologists like John B. Watson, H. Newman, Skodak and Skeel are of the opinion that heredity plays least role in the growth and development of the child, but it is the environmental conditions that influences the child greatly than any other factors. Let us go through some of the studies conducted by psychologists to prove the relative importance of heredity and environment. 3.4.1 Hereditarian's viewpoint. Studies on twins. Several psychologists have concocted studies on twins which help us to know the relative importance of heredity and environment. A. Correlation studies. A. N. Wingfield compared the coefficient of correlation under different relationship group. In the table 3.1, given below, you can see the value and compare the importance of heredity or environment as the determining actor in a child's development. Table 3.1, coefficient of correlation indicating family resemblance in intelligence score. C. No. Family relationship coefficient of correlation. 1 identical twins 0.90. 2 fraternal twins, both sexes, 0.70. 3 fraternal twins, unlike twins, 0.59. 4 siblings 0.50. 5 parent and child 0.27. 6 cousins 0.16. 7 unrelated children 0.00. From the above table, you can analyze that as the degree of relationship increases, there is higher correlation in the intelligence score. The highest correlation is found in the case of identical twins, which drops in the case of fraternal twins. In the case of siblings, that is the children of same parents, we can say the correlation is only 0.50. So, as the genetic variations occur, there is great decrease in the intelligence scores. B. N. Freeman conducted a similar study and found somewhat same results. Let us analyze the results after going through the table 3.2. Table 3.2, coefficient of correlation indicating family resemblance in intelligence score. C. No. Family relationship coefficient of correlation. 1 identical twins 0.90. 2 fraternal twins 0.60. 3 siblings 0.50. 4 cousins 0.16. We can analyze from the table 3.2 that heredity is the determining factor of the development of the child. C. Studies of children in foster homes. I. Study by Burke, BNRK conducted a study at Stanford University, in which he made a comparison between legally adopted children and their foster parents with true children and their parents. In his study, he included 214 foster children adopted at the age of 3 months and 105 control group children living with their parents. The results are shown in the table 3.3. 2. Leahy of Minnesota University also conducted a comparatively similar study. 194 foster children legally adopted before the age of 6 months were selected and a group of 19 children living with their parents. The results are shown in the table 3.3. Table 3.3, showing correlation between parents and real and foster children. Look at the screen. Francis Galton, study about the family histories of 977 famous persons of various Western countries. Almost all of them were discovered to be belonging to great families. These results lead to belief that heredity is the determining factor in the development of an individual. Henry Herbert Goddard, 1866–1957, concluded published in his book, The Kallikak Family, a study in the heredity of feeble-mindedness. Kallikak was a soldier who at first married a feeble-minded woman and later a normal woman from a good family. 480 individual descended from the first wife, and 496 from the second wife. Out of the 480 descendants of the first wife, none came to prominence. They were mostly feeble-minded, criminals, sexual perverts, and drunkards. Out of the latter one there were many famous doctors, teachers, tradesmen, lawyers and administrators. So, above studies highlighted the importance of heredity as the determining factor in development. 3.4.2 Environmentalists' viewpoint. Some psychologists are of the opinion that it is the environment that determines the behavior of a child. You might have heard about the comments, it is that school which makes him great. If I have something else, I will be someone else. Nowadays he becomes worst in his behavior due to the bad company. From all such comments, you will get a vague picture about the importance of environmental factors on the development of the child. Now, let us discuss some studies conducted to prove environment as a which determining factor for development. Newman, 1937, in his book, Twins, A Study of Heredity and Environment, highlighted the importance of environment. They identified 50 identical twins who were reared separately and reared apart. After some time, they compared the traits of these two groups of children. The average difference is shown in the Table 3.4. Table 3.4, showing the average difference of some aspects of identical twins reared together and apart. Look at the screen. From the Table 3.4, it is clear that the identical twins who were reared apart showed marked difference many aspects when compared to twins reared together. For example, the height of identical twins reared together were 45 kgs, then for the other it was only 63 kgs. More notable difference was in the intelligence scores, which is one of the most important ability. So, this study showed the relevance of environment in fostering the development in children. Reed Tuddenham, 1948, conducted comparative study on intelligence of soldiers of the World War I and IT. The average IQ of soldiers for World War I was 62 and that of World War IT was 104. He said that the increase in IQ score was due to the different schooling of the two groups. From these studies you can conclude relevance of environment in modifying the behavior of an individual. Table 3.5 Importance of heredity and environment on different aspects of development. Look at the screen. 3.5 Pendulum of nature versus nurture. From the above discussion, you can observe that the change in the opinion from different periods move from nature to nurture, like a pendulum. The scholars have swung back and forth over time with regard to the amount of influence. In the late 1800s through the early 1900s in the UK, emphasis was on genetics as a determining factor. But, by 1960s, there occurred a shift in the views towards environment. Psychologists and philosophers give emphasis on the concept of tabula rasa, given by John Locke. They emphasized that the child's mind is a clean slate and impressions are written on it by the experiences gained through interacting with the environment. Currently, the scholars are in between. Both genetics and environment are seen as playing important roles. Or we can say that the modern view is in between the two, called interactionist views. So, you can come to the conclude that both heredity and environment play a vital role in the development of the child. Any trait of the individual is the product of both heredity and environment. Heredity determines the probable biological limits, whereas environment determines the level up to which the development is possible. A teacher should bear in mind that personality of a child may be compared to a rectangle. Heredity forms the base while the environment forms a altitude. A rectangle cannot exist without either of the two. Sometimes, it is the heredity which plays a dominant role, whereas in other situations the environment also plays a remarkable role. Teachers should have greater faith in the forces of environment and try to provide better environmental conditions for the normal development of the child. Education can eliminate those influences and circumstances which inhibit growth and development of inherited traits and capacities. Preschools should try to provide suitable opportunities to each child for unfolding their latent powers. The picture of an ideal environment of a well-managed school for the optimum development of children has been very beautifully described by S. Balkrishna Joshi, 1955, as a school is not a mere brick and mortar structure housing a miscellany of pupils and teacher. A school is not a marketplace where a heterogeneous crowd gathers with diverse objects. A school is not rigorous reformatory where juvenile suspects are kept under vigilant watch. A school is spiritual organism with distinctive personality of its own. A school is a vibrant community center, radiating life and energy all round. A school is a wonderful edifice, resting on the foundation of goodwill of the public, goodwill of the parents, goodwill of the pupils. In a word, a well-conducted school is a happy home, a sacred shrine, a social center, a state in miniature and bewitching Brindavan, all beautifully blended into a synthetic structure. By these words we can know clearly about the importance of school in developing the child. 3.6 Summary. In this unit, we have discussed about the factors that influence the growth and development of the child. There are mainly two factors that influence the growth and development of the child. They are heredity and environment. Heredity or nature forms genetic makeup, whereas environment or nurture include everything apart from heredity. There are still controversies regarding about the determining factor of personality. In this unit, we have discussed the studies says it is heredity and others says it is the environment. Each group have their own to support the argument. So